What's up guys? In this video, we're gonna bury all of the muscle tightness and tension that's associated with back pain from sitting for too long. So in this video, we're gonna start at the hip flexors, massaging these psoas and iliacus muscles that get super tight from sitting. Then we're gonna open up these hip flexors with a stretch after they're adequately massaged. Then we're gonna work our way up to the mid-back and do some foam roller deep tissue work there. And then we're also gonna open it up using the hockey stick with a stretch. So this is gonna be a little follow along, a little different one. This is something I actually did earlier this week after a 13-hour car ride, and this helped alleviate a ton of tension that I just built up from being in that position for too long. So we're gonna start at the psoas and iliacus massage using the QL Claw tool. The QL Claw is great for this because it's one of the only tools that's gonna be able to hit both of those muscles used a little differently. So for the psoas massage, first, we're gonna use this part of the tool, and we're gonna lay on it across the body, right on that psoas muscle, like this. And we wanna work in here for about 1 to 2 minutes. And the goal being to break up all that tissue and tension that gets brought on for sitting in one position for too long. So this is how I recommend doing the psoas. Just kind of wiggle your body over that muscle, find a tender spot, and then work it a little bit. You can also engage your glute on the same side just to get a little deeper massage in there. Make sure you're hitting both sides there for about 1 to 2 minutes each side. And massage is always important to do first because if you have any really gnarly knots or trigger points in there, they're not going to stretch easily. So you want to make sure to massage and work those first before you do a stretch. So that's psoas. Second one is iliacus, which is further to the outside of the body. So for that one, we're going to use this portion of the claw, winged out like this, right along the waistline is where iliacus is. And that one, just like psoas, is going to get super short and tight from sitting. So I like working my leg back and forth around the trigger portion, the little end of the claw, just like this. So that one, again, 1 to 2 minutes for each side. All right, and next we want to move into stretching the hip flexors because now that all the tissue is buried, we want to actually stretch and open up this area of the body so that we're not still hunched over in that horrible position for our lower backs. So the first stretch is going to be, I kind of break hip flexor stretches into 2 categories, knee straight and knee bent. The first one we're going to do is a knee straight one, which is going to put more pressure on the psoas and iliacus and less pressure on the lower hip flexors like TFL, rectus femoris, and those guys. So what we want to do here is we want to just open up this front part of the hip. So the goal here is to feel a really deep stretch in this area. And if you've watched some of my videos, I always like to do a little floss stretch. So kind of going to the end of range of motion, then releasing, and then getting a little bit further and a little bit further. So do this one for 1 to 2 minutes on each side. If you're noticing a thread there, that's generally all it takes to get a decent stretch in. All right, so that's hip flexor stretch 1. Second one, we're gonna do a knee bent stretch. So this is gonna just open up a little different muscle, You'll probably feel more of a stretch in the quad, a little less in the hip. But this one you can do on a wall. And the goal here being to really open up all that tightness, tension that comes from sitting for too long in the front of the leg. Again, still doing a flossing motion. Makes stretching a little easier, a little more fun too. I hate static stretching in one position. Again, 1 to 2 minutes on this movement. It might be beneficial to put a pillow or some sort of block there. I'm on freaking concrete and it kind of hurts. I did this on carpet when I actually did it. But for the video, I'm using concrete. All right, so that's a hip flexor stretch. Now we're gonna move up to the mid-back because when you sit for too long, those shoulders, that mid-back, really can hunch over, and this just can put additional pressure on the low back. So hip flexors and mid-back are our targets here. For this, we're gonna use a foam roller to open up that thoracic spine, that mid-back. And the goal here is to get in this position, an open back position, for a little bit of time. If you can't stay in this position with your hips and your head on the ground, you should try to build up to this, because this is a good sign that your thoracic spine can open as much as it needs to. So from here to actually work it, I like to work each side a little bit at a time. Staying in that mid-back, breaking up a little bit of that muscular tension and tissue tightness. And then I like to just let it open me up. And try to take really deep breaths in your belly here. That's gonna allow you to hold this position longer. All right, I'm not gonna do it for a whole 2 minutes, but you should do that for 2 minutes. All right, the final thing we're gonna do here is we're gonna use the stick. We're gonna put the stick to use. So I actually think the stick is one of the best posture correctors and mid-back openers, and I'm gonna show you how to get some benefit from that here. So what we wanna do is we wanna hold the stick about this far apart, go behind your body, and we are just gonna press the stick away. Try to send it right back, like parallel to the ground. And you should feel a really deep stretch in your pectorals and the front of your shoulders. And that is good, because that is the exact opposite position that they're in from slouching and sitting. Just try to get 20 reps of this. A nice little pause at the end. So the wider your grip is, the easier it's gonna be. So start out wide, and then as you get more advanced, you can move your hands slower, closer together. The second opener with the stick is we're gonna come all the way back down here, and we're gonna look to the left and twist to the right. So you're gonna feel a really deep stretch right on your neck and your traps. So then look the other way and twist the other way. I mean, I can feel just from sitting for a couple hours, I've built up some tension in the front of the chest and the neck. And this is gonna just stretch away all of that. So yeah, where you're feeling it is, you're feeling it all across here. All through the neck, all through the traps. And you actually hold a lot of tension here when you're stressed, when you're depressed, when you're in a bad mood in general. Your physiology goes like this. So opening up can actually release some better endorphins and just make you happier overall. So try these 4 moves. We started out with the QL claw massage, then the hip flexor openers, then we moved up to the mid-back. So these 4 things, if you have a long travel day or you're just sitting too much in general, these are some things you want to try out. So leave a comment, like the video, let me know what you want to see next.